Here we go.
People have been trying to make a movie about this series of events in the 60s leading up to the 66 race, I think, for a long time.
This was a real turning point in the history of racing. You know, this is the first time an American team won, and it stopped the dominance of Ferrari.
The idea somehow of that Southern California culture juxtaposing against kind of the pristine European tradition of racing and the American kind of corporate influence was what I was always attracted to and I thought would produce so much friction and fun in the movie.
Where are you guys? You guys should have been down there.
I first read the script a number of years back, and then it came back with Jim, and we've got history. We made 3:10 to Yuma together, and it just all felt right, you know? It was fascinating to learn all about it, and I'm amazed at how many people do know this story.
When I heard it was Jim and then potentially Christian, like we kind of came into it at around the same time. It was a very easy choice for me to sign on to this one.
Dave, line up a start mark for these guys.
What always struck me about the story was that not only did it feature such unique characters, but nothing comes out exactly as you might predict. I'd always wanted to make a sports film, but one of your challenges making one is obviously everyone's going to expect when they watch it that the underdog or whatever characters you're following are going to win the race, and that it's going to be that simple.
The thing with Jim is that the characters are really his joy, completely. He really is like a kid in a candy store with film.
That's the simple solution that also makes what we've already shot good.
Jim's been directing for so long that on the fly, he's aware of shots that he's going to need, and he's really good at talking to actors.
Take you bet I am up there. It'll be a nice signal of that.
That's what I'm going to do.
Anybody who's worked with Jim, he's very hands-on. He gets right in there with the scene with you.
Fuck yeah, you bet I am.
I think he's a guy who's enormously grateful to be where he is.
You bet I am.
And that's exactly how I feel. I'm enormously grateful to be a part of this cast and to be a part of this film.
Well, I got to hand it to you, Lee. You came through. What do you think we've been doing for 70 years? Put engines in cars, we make them go.
Jim has a way of seeing a take and having a visceral reaction to it and coming to you and discussing about what that reaction is and how about let's try something different.
Everything from the way that it's shot, the lenses that they use when you see the shots, so, you know, you'll take a little sneak and it looks so beautiful. Every single little detail is just so perfect.
Jim is on fire right now as a creative filmmaker. He is a very active director, which I truly appreciate. And he does it with this sort of joyful gusto, I would say, and this great sense of a flair of the dramatic, all while being really fun to work with.
Mr. Ford, gentlemen.
Shelby.
As soon as James came in, he really pressed everybody to really get under the skin of these characters and understand what made these guys do what they wanted to do. You know, I think he brought a real tenderness to these guys who could easily be seen as just mechanics or, you know, gearheads or just race car drivers. I mean, he really brought a sort of deeper complexity to these characters, and I think it shows in the movie.
He's always, you know, coming up to you, talking to you, asking you what you feel, you know, talking about the scene. And he's really encouraging and helpful when it comes to if you're kind of confused with something that happens.
There's always moments where you find things. One of the touches in the movie that just came out of us playing after Ken Miles wins the first race at Willow Springs and Noah is standing on the wall cheering his father, one of the first takes we did, Christian drove up and we had a line exchange as he drove by his son, and he said to me, "Why wouldn't I just ask him to get in with me?" And I said, "Why not? Let's try it."
That calls for a nice cup of tea.
I'll put the kettle on!
Up in!
And when they get in the car, Christian had the idea to sing this song from his childhood in England, I'm H-A-P-P-Y, I'm H-A-P-P-Y, which of course Noah knows because he's also English, and it was such a beautiful moment.
H-A-P-P-Y, I'm H-A-P-P-Y. I know I am, I'm sure I am, I'm H-A-P-P-Y.
It was just an exciting movie to make, to get up and go make every day. So if the movie is half of what the experience of shooting it was and for what my hopes and expectations were, then we're gonna be in good shape.
The cars are beautiful, and the risk that these men bore feeds your imagination. But if you don't find the right story to tell and don't find real characters your audience believes, you're gonna end up with nothing but just a lot of beautiful car bodies getting sexy hits of light, and you're never gonna have a story.
Looks fast, doesn't it?
Looks aren't everything.